You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. And now, TSPN's Amador This Week's Out and About. This local television coverage is proudly brought to you by Jackson Rancheria Casino Resort. And now, Amador This Week's Out and About on TSPN.
Hi TSPN, this is Sarah Tan, and I'm at the Amador County Quilt Show with Annalie Belden. Hello.
Right. Hi, nice to have you here. Thanks for coming in and sharing this with everyone.
Oh, no problem. So you're going to take us around and show us a little bit about the quilt show and about the people inside of it?
Yeah, sure will. Motherlode Quilt Guild is the one putting on the show, and this is our 4th quilt show. We meet right here in Sutter Creek. And we meet every Monday, 4th Monday of the month. So all the gals have come together. We do the show every other year. So this is the year for it, and we're so happy with all the entrants and how busy we are, and just to share the talent of the group. There's so many ladies that have such talent here in Amador County. So
it looks beautiful. It's so packed in here with so many quilts. So let's get started, shall we?
Okay, where do you want to begin?
Anywhere you think we should.
Why don't we go this way?
All right.
Okay.
Back here with Annalie, and she's going to explain this to us.
Yes, Sarah, this is an opportunity quilt. The guild members put this quilt together. They all put their loving stitches on it, design it, and make it. And what we do is we sell tickets for an opportunity to win it. So for $1, people can purchase a ticket, and then they could possibly win this quilt. And it's a way that our guild raises money. We do a lot in the community. We give quilts to the senior center, to the women's shelter, to the pregnancy center, and all those kinds of things. And so any funds that we get from that, that's what we use to purchase the fabric for making those quilts for those centers.
Definitely a good cause right here. It's really beautiful. I must say, I love the flowers that they have, the different kinds of flowers. You said that the entire guild made this?
Yes, they did. The ladies get together. A couple of them will each make a block, and then they have a big sew day, kind of like in the old-fashioned days, you know, where the women would get together, and they would they sit all down and they put the quilt together, and then we usually have someone quilt it up, and then we start showing it to sell the tickets. So it's one of our biggest fundraisers outside of this quilt show.
All right, well, definitely come down here to get those tickets because it's a beautiful quilt.
Yeah. Okay, more quilts to show. Let's go.
Okay, back here with Annalie again.
Yeah.
So can you tell me just a little bit about these types of quilts, how long they could take and what kind of styles they are? Just some of these hanging right here because they're all really wonderful quilts.
Yeah, absolutely. These are very special. These are what you would call an art quilt. They're very contemporary, and they're made of fabrics that perhaps aren't necessarily cottons, and they're very decorative and original designs. And actually, these pieces that you're looking at were designed and created by our featured quilters here at the Quilt Show. And they are named the Pixel Ladies, and I have one of the Pixel Ladies right here.
Hi. Hi, Deb.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Hi. So why don't you tell us a little bit about these kind of quilts?
Okay, what we do is we tell stories in cloth. So whatever story, everybody has a story to tell. This one just happens to be my trip to Ghana in 1996. So I bought the center panel from an artist there, and then we create around it. And this one behind here is Chris's dad's autobiography, and Chris is the other Pixel lady right here.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, this was my dad when he wrote his autobiography, so we decided to put it into quilt form. He really helped us a lot on it. You know, he provided his buttons from his uniform. He had documents, his draft card, telegrams, all kinds of stuff about his autobiography. And so he really enjoyed this quilt.
Now, I see that they've got like newspaper clippings and different papers and pictures, so how do you get that onto a quilt?
Well, we can print, we print our own fabric. We have 45-inch wide printers, and we print using fabric dyes. But a lot of people can actually now send their files off to companies, such as there's a company, a pretty big one called spoonflower.com. So they might try and go there. It's not that fun to do it yourself, so it's one of the things I would recommend people just send it off and have it done. It's pretty simple, and it comes back pretty nice.
Sorry, so how long did this accumulation take you?
Couple months. What took the longest were the 1,000 French knots we put in, because those were all done by hand. The Photoshop, the printing, I know that's a couple days. But the French knot, it's the hand sewing. The hand sewing is what takes the time, but it was worth it. So
definitely tells a story. It's really interesting. I gotta say, it's got beauty and it's got history on it. So it's very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Tommy's getting some shots of some of the vendors in the back part of the auditorium. I'm noticing they have a lot of different kinds of quilts. They have patterns and stuff like that. What exactly are they selling right now?
Well, we have a variety of vendors here. We have some vendors that are selling quilt racks. A lot of these products are quilt related. Up on the stage we have patterns, as you said, the Second Chance Fabrics. That's a place where they're selling fabrics that are kind of like a secondhand store. People have decided they didn't want to use that fabric, so they package it up and resell it. And then we have a wonderful Jill Rixman does hand applique. Jill, wave! And then we have an antique dealer here that's selling old quilts. So all of these products are really things that quilters would enjoy. Jewelry, buttons, all kinds of things that we get a kick out of. So lots to be had here.
It seems like a couple of places you have baby quilts, right? So my grandmother used to quilt a lot when I was younger too, and it's a big thing because in our family we do have a family quilt that we made together, and it's very interesting to see the different designs and patterns and the different ways we can do this. Is there specific patterns that people use?
You know what? You're right. There are so many different patterns. In the olden days, there were just a few, and now it's just a multitude. And you saw some of the art quilts, and there's traditional quilts. There's easy baby quilts, very complex quilts. So it's endless. And I think that's why quilting is so popular, because you can just keep on doing it. There's just so many different quilts you can make, so many techniques to learn. And like yourself, you have a family quilt. It's an heirloom quilt. It means a lot to you. Someone in your family probably made it, and it's special. And I think that's what makes quilting very special, is when we make quilts, we're putting our heart and soul into it, and that kind of passes along through the generations. So I think it's a very unique art, that you can pass on, and it's very enjoyable.
Well, because it is an art form, it takes a lot of talent and a lot of skill to learn how to do it just correctly, and it takes a lot of time. So it's all very beautiful. So why don't we continue on and see what else we can find that related to quilts, shall we?
Sounds great.
All right, we're here in front of this incredible designed quilt. It looks like a whole bunch of cats. Care to explain what it's for?
Yeah, this is Crazy Cats, and a group of quilters made this in one of my classes, and what we're doing is we made this quilt all together. We chose the border fabric, and then we each picked a block, and we went home and we made our Crazy Cat. And you can see it's just very fun and interesting, bright and cheerful. And what's happening with this quilt is we're donating it to APAL to help them raise money for caring for the kittens or the dogs or whatever they feel the funds are good for. So we're very excited. This will be raffled off next year at one of their dinners. And it's fun, as you can see. I mean, who knew that you could have a Santa Claus cat or a pirate cat and all the different fun colors and stuff. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, you've got cats patterned with different colors and different shades, and it's really interesting. I like the cat that's leaping. That's a very cool pattern right there, I must say. Each one of them is an individual cat. It's very good. It's very nice.
And we topped it off with some special jewel beads you can see that are shining and glitzy and makes it really fun. And let's check out this t-shirt quilt right here.
Let's. I was noticing it. It looks really awesome. So can you tell us just the story behind this? The title says t-shirt quilt, but the story behind the quilt itself?
This was made by a gal, Dorothy Presnall. She's one of our members, and she wanted to make a quilt for her granddaughter, something that would give her a lot of special memories. So each square has one of her granddaughter's t-shirts on it. So she took a t-shirt, you line it with interfacing to give it stability, and then she picks this setting for it, which is really fun. I mean, it's not just squares set in a row. She's, toppled them back and forth and highlighted the t-shirts, which probably mean a lot to her granddaughter. And this is really a very popular thing to do for teens that are going off to college. Perhaps they're done with high school and they want to take some memories along with them. So you can take your t-shirts up and cut them up and put them into a quilt. And that way, perhaps you're not wearing them anymore and they carry the memories. And like we were talking about before, you have heirloom quilts. These are very good memory quilts. Every time she pulls it out, I'm sure she's reminded of the fun places she was that these t-shirts represent.
Yeah, well, not only that, but it kind of gives a whole story of the person themselves, what their likes are and what their interests are. And I've never heard of the t-shirt quilting before, and now I really want one.
You're going to have to pull out all your t-shirts and get yourself into a class and do one.
Of course, yeah, no doubt.
So we have lots more quilts to show, so you want to hit the next row?
All right, let's go. All right, I'm here with Chuck Peterson, and he is one of the vendors here at the Quilt Show. So why don't you explain a little bit about what you're selling here?
Well, we started out building grandchildren toys. Okay, started out with a cradle and then a rocking horse, and it eventually grew into a particular market for quilters, quilt ladders and quilt racks. And I make all of the quilt ladders and quilt racks myself. It's a real joy to serve this kind of a crowd because they can appreciate the kind of labor that goes into a project. Everything that we build has at least 3 coats of lacquer on it, and it's buffed very, very smooth because these ladies will put in 100 hours or more on a quilt, and I never want to have color transfer or snagging or any of the problems that can come along with working with wood.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Any of the problems that can come along with working with wood. So that's a very big consideration. Plus, we carry a variety of little children's toys that are a lot of fun for kids to play with. We've got this classic, which has been around since Civil War era.
I noticed that. That looks...
It's much easier to do two-handed than it is one-handed.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yes.
Now, what's this here? Is it, they're threading the oh my gosh,
they're actually
that's
stringing
wonderful.
them. We've got them in the blocks with the alphabet letters, and we also have them in spools,
How great.
which is much simpler.
So you combined the learning of the letters, and here we're teaching young ones how to use the needle and thread,
Absolutely.
right? Oh my gosh, you're clever. This is
Thank you.
awesome. What great toy.
And we've also
Certainly
got
is.
a hammering toy there, because every kid loves to hammer, either on a sibling or this is much safer. And they can simply practice driving the T's into the foam, and they have a lot of fun with it. You'd never suspect it, thinking about, well, there's no batteries here. There's no internet, no buttons, no, lights that light up. But they love doing simple things with their hands, and they learn in the process.
Yeah, don't need that internet and all that kind of thing, right? Take
Not
it back
always.
to basics.
Yeah.
Basically, it's definitely a take on the old toy, isn't it? It's the take on this is what they did for fun.
Well,
And I gotta say, it looks much more fun than some of the stuff they do today, really. The old classic yo-yo. When was the last time I played with a classic yo-yo? I don't remember.
Indeed.
And what is the name of your business?
Generation to generation heirlooms.
Hi, thank you very much for showing us all of these wonderful toys in your business.
And you're more than welcome to sign our guest register and visit our website, www.generationheirlooms.com, and give us a look. Let us know.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we're in the vendor booth of Dee's Quilting, and we're just going to have Tommy go around and take a look. Right here we've got one of the ladies showing off how she does the patterns and all of the different textures that comes in. So what I can tell is she's just cutting out these patterns and then sticking them in fancy designs to then put on a larger quilt.
Yeah, that's right. It looks like she's using a very special curved ruler to give this flair. So there's all kinds of tools out there to make quilting easier than the old-fashioned days. You know, we don't have to sit down and cut each piece out with a pair of scissors. We have rulers and rotary cutters that make it a lot easier for us. And looks like she's demonstrating that. And her booth here has a definite oriental flair to it. We were talking about the variety of quilts that you have, and this is one that is very popular. The sashiko and using the oriental images is very popular here in California, and the colorations of the darks, the blacks with the whites and golds. So her booth is a very good representation of that.
Yeah, it looks like she's got a whole bunch of sellings of different patterns and different cloths that she's selling, and it does look like a lot of them are Oriental based. I especially like some of these patterns over here that are titled like Lily of the Valley and Hibiscus and Water Lily. They all just sound so exotic, don't they?
They do, yeah. And these are stitching patterns for creating those designs on top of your quilts with threads and such. Probably can be used as applique also. So as you can see, there's so much you can do in the quilting world.
Oh my God. She's got a bunch of the quilts already up with design patterns on top of them. Is that what do you do with the design patterns that are on top?
What she's showing is usually the quilt that's hanging, the pattern she has in front of it means you can purchase that pattern. So if you're a person, you're walking through here and you really like this beautiful geometric quilt with the black and cream in it, the pattern is right there. So it's called Chopsticks. You can pick it up and you can purchase it, and then you can go home and make that quilt yourself. So that's the purpose of doing that. Yeah.
It is. It's very interesting. She's got a lot of different styles of quilts, doesn't she? She's got hexagon, she's got flowers, she's got full-on images, which I think that one's a very beautiful one because she has beads on it. And are beads used a lot on these?
You know, a lot's not so much in bed quilts, but in what we call art quilts or wall hangings. You know, quilts no longer are just for the bed. You can hang them on the wall, you can put them on a couch, the end of a couch, you can decorate with them. And when you're decorating with them, then it's okay for the beads to be on there because you're not sleeping against it. So very often in that art form we are using beads, and it just adds such sparkle and interest, another layer of interest in quilts. So, yeah.
All right. Well, it's an excellent example of a vending right here. She's got everything in it.
Yeah. Very nice, very nice. There's a quilt down here I just have to show you. You want to go look?
All right. So Tommy's getting a shot of this one. Can you tell us the title and the whole story behind this one as well?
Sure. This is made by Barbara Hurd. She's a local quilter, and she also teaches, and this is a French braid technique. That's the shapes that you see. The strips are making a V, and you've got the little square on the inside and then framed with the outside. And believe it or not, this quilt looks super difficult, but truly an intermediate quilter could make this. I wouldn't suggest it for a complete beginner, but it's not as difficult as it looks. And I just love her rich colors in this, the blacks and the creams. And again, this is a local teacher, so people that are interested in quilting, they can learn from people like her and myself. I'm a teacher also, and that's the neat thing about coming to a guild like this is we're all learning from each other, you know, the different things that go into making a quilt, everything from putting the binding on, what batting to use, and how to piece it, and how to be inspired with fabric. So this is a beautiful piece. I really like this one.
I wanted to point out that over here, I believe this is Marilee, she's handing out these quilted roses, and I think these are actually fascinating because most times people only think of quilts as being wall hangings and stuff like this.
Yeah, look, yeah, we were just talking about your wonderful roses that everyone's walking around with.
Yeah. And so can you tell us a little bit of how you make these?
Well, actually, I'm not the one that makes them. I make parts of them, but Marilee is the owner of the shop, and she does the rose part and adds a leaf, and I do the rest with a little bow and the tag.
Now, where is your shop at?
Well, actually, we don't have a brick and mortar store. We are online, and then we are out of Elk Grove, so we go to all the shows around the area. I think the farthest we've been is Reading this year. So we have about 12 shows this year, and we did about 10 last year.
And there's Marilee. Hi.
Hi, Marilee. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about these designs? And it seems you have a couple. You got a lot of representation of different patterns here. So just point one out. What's your favorite one of these quilts that you like?
They're all my babies, and I love every one of them, but I'm fondly of the Honeystone Hill collection, the metallics over there, kind of like the yellow brick road, only it's a rainbow brick road. And I love the Dragonfly. It's a good line. I like black, whites, and reds. That's my other favorite thing. And you pan around to the Blank Textiles Rock Candy, and I love batiks a great deal, so I've designed something with that. And I love the faux applique, where you fuse it down with steam seam 2, and it's all about the fabric and the color with me. And I see something, it speaks to me, and then I got to make something up. That little thing in the corner, I got a bolt of fabric, and so I thought, geez, that would just make a beautiful wall hanging. So I took some steam seam 2, plopped it on the back, cut it out, and ironed it down. Now I got to quilt it.
Well, it's beautiful, and I can't wait to see the finished product of it.
I'm going to do that this next week, so I can have it for my next show. And you got a rose? You get a rose too.
Tommy gets a rose. There he goes.
Tommy gets a rose for his friend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, so we were walking around, and I noticed this bag, and for anyone who does sewing will notice it looks fairly familiar. It's a combination of the ending patterns that they have on those long yards that people buy.
Yes, the edging, which we call selvage, and usually typed on the edging you have the different color runs, the name of the manufacturer who has made the fabric. And so what this gal has done, this is Nancy Zetterberg made this one, and so she has taken those edges, which you usually cut off and throw away, and she's created this wonderful tote, which you noticed. It's very contemporary, and what a great way. You know, everyone's going green, even quilters are. You know, no waste, using them up, and it's just a fun way to create a fun project.
It's definitely a salvage bag, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very awesome, I gotta say. I would actually buy that.
There you go. You should check with her. Maybe she would have it for sale, which some things are for sale. Some quilters do make things to sell, especially the smaller items. Sometimes it's hard to sell the bigger items because there's a lot of time and effort put into them, and a lot of money in fabrics and stuff. So.
Okay, so we were going to go over and see the other vendors, so why don't we go over there? Why don't you explain a little bit about what you're selling here?
Do I have to?
No, yeah, just feel free, just point it out and tell us what it is.
I make placemats, and I make all of these things, and table runners, and just...
Well,
and I can be found in the kitchen store in Amador City.
Really, I noticed because you have these oven mitts, right? This is definitely a different way than just do you have all of these beautiful, wonderful, long blanket-like quilts, and then this is a different idea to use the quilting technique. So how long have you been doing this sort of thing?
30 years.
Wow, that's good. That's really good. It's definitely a hobby, huh?
Yes, I started back in the 70s, and my mother-in-law said that quilting would just be a fad, and here we still are.
Proved her wrong, didn't you?
Sure did.
All right, thank you. I'm just going to get a couple of shots. You have bags and totes and little eyeglass cases and wine coasters, or just coasters?
Coasters for whatever you'd like.
It's definitely, you got a wide variety here, so it's not just gigantic quilts here, people. It's definitely different sorts of things, placemats, oven mitts, containers, bags. It's very, very interesting and all very beautiful. So thank you for showing us all of this. It's really nice.
Thank you. My items are all in the kitchen.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Okay, we're back, and Annalie, you're going to show us some of your stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually an author, and I've written a book, and my book is based on Dresden. That's an old-fashioned design, very traditional, and I turned it more modern. So my particular Dresden piece is this one here. It's called Mad Hatters, and done in very bright fabrics and fun fabrics, and it's been very popular. My book's been out since 2009, selling very well, and thanks to people like the Group Guild here, they support me very much so, you know. So the Guild is such a wonderful way here in our community to get to know people. I really urge women that might be out there that have always wanted to learn how to sew to join up and be part of the Guild. I've seen so many people bond with friends and stuff and create those friendships that last forever. So I think it's really a wonderful way to get connected and to do something nice for the community. As I say, we do a lot of donations to the community. It's just really fun, and it's amazing how such an art, traditional technique can really be so much more than just sewing pieces of fabric together.
Well, you definitely show a passion for it. Well, how long have you been doing this?
Wow, my first quilt was at age 13, and I don't even want to tell you how long ago that was. So it's been a long time. I've been teaching here in Amador County for over 20 years, if that tells you anything. So started with teaching children how to sew, and it's just a delight to see those children now sewing quilts and such. So, and see some of them. I have one gal that when she was in college, she sewed aprons, and she sold them online to make herself some extra money while in college. So I think there's a renewed interest in sewing now. I'm seeing a lot more, not only in quilts but also in garments. I'm having more adults say, hey, I never learned that, because you know it's not available in school anymore. So it is an art that you just can't get easily every day in school. You have to search it out and try and find how to do it. So it's really fun to see that the community wants to do that. So we have our local sewing shops, the Sewing Cottage in Martell. And again, this is Mother Lode Quilt Guild, and it's always the fourth Monday of the month here at the church, the Methodist Church on Main Street. If anyone would like to come join in, it's at 6:30 is our meeting. We'd welcome you to come and see our quilts. What people mostly say is, I'm a beginner, I'm too afraid to go to a group. Well, that's what we want. We want beginners to come in. We enjoy showing and sharing our knowledge. So come on down and enjoy visiting with us and learning how to quilt. See what you can do. Are you inspired?
I'm definitely inspired if I only had the time in my day, because this seems like it takes a lot of time and effort to put into, and I actually think this would be a great stress reliever for some people, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, definitely. It's a neat creative outlet, you know, so and I think you could squeeze a little time in, you know, an hour here and there, and before you know it, you have a quilt done.
All right, so Tommy's giving me the signal to say goodbye, so we're going to say goodbye to all our viewers. I'm Sarah Rattan, and this is
Annalie Belden, and thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for having us here, out here at the Amador Quilt Show.
Yeah.
Come on down here in Sutter Creek.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. Amador This Week's Out and About has been proudly brought to you by Jackson Rancheria Casino Resort. You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. And now back to Amador This Week.